Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we made it to day 5. We're still in the 3-3 emotional 6.5 day sequence, and day 5 is right here in this white rectangle. Now, as always, we're going to talk about the electromagnetics. And this 3-3 emotional sequence has been a handful. Even though it didn't start out real strong, you can see that it stayed elevated for the majority of this awareness. And the reason for this is because the E emotional or macro E frequencies and the M or micro frequencies have been staggered. We started out with emotional polarity moments. That's what's going on right here. And then we had a mental polarity moment happen and flip. So it started in first person, it flipped, and then it went to third person. We had a small laydown over the course of day 4. That was the last 24-hour segment. And now we're right back into an emotional flip. So this elevation right here means a macro E frequency is elevated. And when these polarity moments elevate, they are going to mess with our emotional rhythms. And when either the micro M or the macro E are in a polarized moment, that's when we see a lot of conflict happening. That's when we see mass shootings. That's when we see all kinds of organized chaos at larger levels, not only within the structures of our family, but within the structures of our society. Now, when we look at the combined here, so this is first person, and this is where we're really going to have to focus, is in our general sphere of people, okay? Especially in the start of this 24-hour period. You can see there's quite a spike. It gets up to that 6 range, and you can see that in the combined as well. Now, we talk about 4 as being where you're going to notice it. Well, there are places where first person hits 4. There are places where third person hits 4. And when you looked at the combined average for this next 24 hours, we need to be on high alert. When you see this gap between the bottom of the graph to the bottom of where this is showing, that's telling you right there that there is something strong that's polarized, and it's only one at this exact moment in time. So when we get into the next 24-hour segment, you can see it elevates even higher. We're going to have a dual polarity happening at the emotional level. This is going to intensify now for the next 2.5 days. Very important here that we stay calm and focused going forward through this next 24-hour segment, okay? And if you forgot, we're designed with a defensive system of control. These unseen polarity moments are literally the organized pattern of chaos. It's engaging our defenses, and what it's doing is it's tricking us in to running away from our problems or standing up and fighting and over our personal opinions in ways that make more stress for ourselves and everyone around us. Now, if you are duped, if you are tricked by these unseen polarity moments and you get stressed out or you cause stress to the people around you, this is what you're getting. You're getting increased aging and you're getting advanced future states of disease. Why? Because stress is going to wear your body down. Stress is what causes all of the inflammation that accelerates all the things that you don't want. And it's trying to stop you from achieving the space-time objective. All right, time to move down to objective here. All right. So we talk about this in every forecast, and it's pretty simplistic. All right, I've gotten good at explaining this. So we're an interconnected family, or we're an interconnected team. And on a team, all teammates need to communicate. Some teammates are going to be more mature. That's the mother and father. They're like the captains or the leaders. And then you've got your teammates that are starting to mature. That's your sons and daughters. And what's supposed to be happening here, if there's any differences between any of our teammates, we should be trying to help our teammates work out those differences. And the most important thing is understanding the team focus. That's what's going on over here. Okay. These are the 4 different perspectives that you can look at a society through. And what our teammates and what our team focus should all be focused on is individually making sure that we're consistently in our routines contributing equally to family, individual, world, and national strategy. Meaning your routine every day should have parts that you're making sure that you're influencing all of these things. Now, what's happened here is we've lost our team focus. Our teammates aren't working together, and some of our teammates, or the majority of our teammates, have overinvested in certain strategies. How can we be certain? Well, you look around the world right now and you see all of the chaos happening in our nations. You see our world is not getting along, and you see our weather is deteriorating fast. And this is because Individuals have decided to invest too much in these bottom two right here, either in their family or their individual self. And what that's done now is we've got all these people fighting over this, and that's what's creating all this tension at these larger levels. It's that simple. Now, the way space-time reality works is this. There are governing frequencies that are trying to teach us. And they teach us by letting us make our own choices or what we believe to be our own choices. And if our choices go against this team dynamic, and if our choices are not balanced and our routines are not balanced, then you will take damage to the quadrants of your body. Now, we split this up into the four quadrants. And if your right lower quadrant is having problems, here are the problems that you're really having. You're having trouble balancing these relationships, first and third perspectives. Left lower quadrants, these relationships. Right upper quadrant, these relationships. Left upper quadrant, these relationships. Can't make it any simpler. On our website, we fully disclose how this mathematical construct works. We just didn't realize we were in a mathematical construct. We didn't realize we had governing frequencies that were testing us, and we definitely didn't realize there was an unseen pattern of chaos that activates our defensive design and actually makes us fight and cause the stress that stops us from acting as an interconnected team with an interconnected goal. Now, if you decide as an individual that you are going to commit to your team and that you're going to commit to the overall goal, then this is what happens. When these testing frequencies come, instead of you aging, you'll be in balance. You can actually stop or slow the aging process. You can stop the disease process. And if you start this and maintain it long enough, you can reverse the disease process. Now, when you finally die, because everyone will eventually die, that's just how this works, but you've committed to the team and you've committed to this focus, it gets you out of the negative feedback loop we're in. All right, so that's enough about this. We've discussed this objective multiple times. Come to our website. We clearly disclose how all this works. Let's move on. We're going to look at the 24-hour segment now. Now, in this 24-hour segment, obviously, red alert, okay? We've got elevated first-person perspectives for the 24 hours. We've got up and downs going on here in third person's perspective, especially at the end of this 24 hours. And when we look at the overall combined here, we're dancing above the four, at the four, above the four, at the four, above the four throughout this entire section, all right? So kind of a big deal here. Now, in addition, we're going to come up here and talk about alignments. Alignments are super, super strong. Okay. So we still have, and you can see it's finally going to end. We've been running this ME alignment now for 3 days straight. And this is testing the lower quadrants of the body. So the left and right lower quadrants of the body. But this M frequency is stronger. So you're definitely been probably feeling it on the left, maybe a little bit more than the right. And we have had multiple alignments now, multiple days that have been testing lower extremity. So once again, this super strong alignment, and I said this in the last post, and I noticed it again today. People are definitely limping, and you can see it in their posture, in their gait, that this is wearing on them. And it's obvious that a lot of us, pretty much all of us, are out of balance in the way that we're deciding to live our lives because it's overbalanced here, which means we're neglecting this. And that is definitely going to lead to imbalance issues when this governing frequency, what this is a super strong alignment, two hands of the clock align. And when two hands of the clock align, two frequencies amplify together, and it's just really, really obvious for us to be able to point this out, okay? Now, the other one that's about to kick off here is the ME, and this one's going to go on for a couple days too. So get ready. And this ME is going to test the upper quadrants. Now, these are much tougher. So in this next 24-hour segment, I really imagine people that have all kinds of stuff in the upper quadrants, headaches, sinus problems, memory issues, brain fog, all that stuff is going to amplify. Heart and lung issues, people that have any kind of respiratory stuff, this is going to get a lot more difficult if you're not balancing what these two colors demand. And these governing colors demand that we have routines that balance national and world perspective. Now, I hate to be the one to tell you, when you look around, our national and world perspective is pretty noticeably out of balance. So a lot of people are going to be experiencing probably some unpleasantness here. Now, because this alignment is so long, you're really going to want to document when you feel your peaks, what you feel, and what parts of these quadrants are happening. And then you're going to want to use our technology to do a deeper dive and see exactly what you need to be focusing on so that the next time we have a strong alignment like this, your body's not taking premature damage. All right, so we got a couple more alignments to talk about here now. So now we're going to move down here and we're going to look at these PEs. They're these two down here. These are both going to be testing the left lower quadrant. They're right on top of each other. And because these two alignments are going to be happening, well, this strong one's still happening up here. You can imagine that today is going to really be testing lower quadrant. Now, these two again are just going to add to that left lower quadrant. So we got one left to talk about, and it's this one up here. It's this ME. And this is literally going to take over where this one stops. So finally, this thing's going to let off this 14 level. So this is level 14. There's only 15 levels here. So this is the second to the strongest. This is going to let off. And when it does, it's going to be replaced by this, which is the exact same combination. So basically, we've got another 24 hours of lower quadrant and we got another 24 hours of upper quadrant. Okay, that's a lot. All right, so let's get down here and look at macro placement now. So these are where the strongest 10 frequencies are going to be placed in the next 24 hours. Now, the reason this is important is because there's tons of frequencies that are testing us, and there's many, many more than this than we list, but these are the strongest ones, and they pretty much hold steady where we've got them positioned here. Okay, so let's just look at the divisions here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bottom, which means we have 4 on the top. So again, this is kind of reinforcing the idea that we're going to feel a lot going on in this lower quadrant, and it's heavier on the left, and these are stronger on the left. So left lower quadrant, very likely. Now, in addition to this, you can see we have 3 on the right upper quadrant, 1 on the left upper quadrant. So if we had to guess between right and left, we're going to say probably we're going to feel it a little bit more on this right side. But if I was in practice, I always say this. I'm saying left lower quadrant and bilateral upper quadrant. Those are going to be our primary focuses. And I would say lots of head stuff, lots of sinus stuff, lots of visual stuff, lots of hearing stuff, lots of brain fog, lots of memory stuff. People that are having issues with remembering or staying clear, this alignment right here is going to make it extremely difficult for that, especially if you're not balancing your routine and contributing at the national and world level. In fact, everybody is going to be affected by this, but people that have advancing conditions that are affecting these upper quadrants are really going to experience this when this happens. Okay. That's enough about that. Now let's keep on moving here, all right? So we're going to do a quick review here. As always, we've posted all of the electromagnetics for the rest of the year. No more mystery. We know when there are going to be polarity flips, when the E's, when the M's, when the capital M's, when they're going to build, and when this is going to cause all the organized chaos that animates all of this unfortunate event that we're having to put up with right now. And the more you watch this, the more you're going to see weather patterns go with this. Why? Because we are connected to this interactive experience. Space-time math connects the individual and the individual's choices. It adds up all the individual's choices together. And if all the individuals in the world are out of balance, then what we create is out of balance weather patterns and out of balance catastrophes. And that's exactly what's happening here. And the more these agitating moments ramp up, the more they get us to fight with each other. The more we fight as individuals, the worse our environment becomes. This is a negative feedback loop that is designed to end in a not so pleasant way. Health Reconnected is trying to make you aware of this because there's no reason that we can't decide to be more aware, to be more precautious, to be teammates, to work together and achieve this common goal, which is just really to create peace and prosperity for all of us. Doesn't that sound terrible? Okay, that's my sarcasm for the day. All right, so unfortunately, I'm coming back up here for a minute. I didn't even talk about this in the beginning. So when we were doing day 4, and this is where day 4 started, and I said, "Hey, there's this little spot right here where we still have this mental M firing." And this was the time where we said, "Wow, this is where we had some mass shootings." And I said, "This isn't going to be easy." And then we got one more little spike here. Well, of course, as I was recording this, so as I was recording day 4's 24-hour forecast, there was actually a mass shooting in Detroit that happened to be worse than the ones that we were talking about earlier. And that's what this confirmation video is. 17 people or 19 people wounded, 2 people killed, and it happens right on that peak I just showed you. And this is exactly what we were warning people. We know, especially when the M, the small M's, and the capital E's polarize, those are the 7.5 and 6.5 day frequencies. You can pretty much take it to the bank that the news is going to fill up with a bunch of needless shootings, okay? We don't need that anymore, and this is just the one that we did in the previous post. It's sitting right below it. This was in the same day time. It was right here too. One happened here, one happened here, this peak right here, this peak right here, the 2 highest peaks in this middle sequence. Exactly where we said it was gonna be, and unfortunately, I can tell you this, it does not feel good to predict this and for those predictions to come true. Alright, so you can check these videos out. You can, if you'd like to, you can request us to do a past event. If you wanna know about something that happened in the past and you wanna confirm that it was the electromagnetics, I promise you it was. It's not even a question. And you know this, we've embedded our technology on our website. You can do this yourself. You don't even need us. And for all the confirmation videos we've done, we've got a library here for you, okay? And this library is starting to grow now. So go ahead, come here. You can see all the things that we've done since we've been doing these forecasts, and they're all falling right in line. This unseen pattern of chaos is literally creating all of this unfortunate that we're having to feel and experience right now. And Health Reconnected is trying to put an end to it. All right, that's enough. We're done with this one. Everybody's on high alert. Obviously, we've got a lot more focus here coming this week, and you'll see me here in another 24 hours.